Hey everyone, Simon here with a quick review of Mochi Mochi Boy, or Mochi Mochi Boy, I'm not sure which way you're supposed to say it. The game is an indie puzzle game that's available for PS4 and PS Vita as a cross-buy, and that's where I bought it, but also Nintendo Switch, PC, Xbox One and Mac. The game, if I described it in a nutshell, is taking the don't smash into yourself element of Snake and then applying it to puzzle areas in a puzzle format. Mochi Mochi Boy, or Mochi Mochi Boy, is stretchable and elastic, and the idea is that each level contains heart platforms and you need to stretch your body around by going up, down, left and right to manoeuvre around the levels and cover all of the bases. This gets progressively harder because it introduces screen warping so that you move off the right screen and appear on the left, up and down and vice versa, and then coloured tunnels as well start popping into the fray, so you have to kind of think in advance because some tunnels will lead you down dead ends. It gets complicated after about the first 35-40 levels, and there's 150 stages in all. That's where I strongly recommend playing the game, and that's in classic mode, where the stages are all set out properly by humans who have designed the levels for them to be challenging, and there are notable difficulty spikes, especially as you kind of hit around level 60 odd, and then my brain started to heavily melt. Outside of that, there are other modes, notably dungeon mode, but that's got random generation and this really odd kind of trap and monster element to it that made no sense whatsoever when you look at the game as a whole. They add on things that you need to avoid, which is fine because it adds a little bit of a randomization element to the game. But when it's got like traps for you to kind of avoid or move over at certain times, it's got this strange rhythmic element that doesn't really have rhythm and makes no real sense to it at all. The main reason why you'll play dungeon mode is that it's got a timer on the right hand side of the screen that will constantly click away, so you've got to see how far you can get through the dungeon before the time runs out, and time reduces whenever you do a game over or you run into a trap or you decide to reset the level because you've buggered yourself up. Outside of that, there's other padding that goes onto the game that doesn't make sense either. There's 100 collectible slimes, but they don't do anything to the actual gameplay. They are collectible and you can look at them in a sub-menu, but aside from that it's all randomised anyway, so you'll just get what you're given. And it seems a little bit of a strange way to try and pad a game that didn't need padding and should have maybe been set on a slightly lower price point, just giving pure gameplay. But if you do like these kind of simple drop in and leave style puzzles, Mochi Mochi Boy is not going to set you back too much because it's on sale quite regularly, but it's also one of those games that you can kind of dive in for 5 minutes, have your fill and leave, and then come back when your head's a little less sore if you're going to go for those whole 150 stages. It's not going to change your life, but it's inoffensive. So a written review will be over on higherplayinggames.com very shortly, and yeah, you guys will stay tuned and I'll catch you all again, grabbing more weird and wonderful indie games wherever I can. Bye for now.